Hi, Sign, sorry. How are you? So just trying to work it out so that I can obviously see your chats on screen, and you guys can also then see the chats on screen as well. You're okay, that's good to know. Just trying to see if chat's going to catch up. It sometimes takes a second for it to appear. There's got to be something. The minute I go back to streaming on YouTube, just YouTube, it all goes a little bit haywire apparently. For some reason it doesn't want to show your chats signed. Even though I've changed the settings so it's showing live. What in the world is going on there? I'll keep working on that. Obviously today we're going to be highlighting our Lady Bryn from yesterday, and then I'm going to be working on the little I think it's a Manthador guy. So working on him today. I hope you haven't offended the Omnissiah sign. I would like to think you haven't. But yeah, for some reason it's allowed me earlier on, because I was testing it, to for some reason it's only showing top chat and not live chat, even though that's where I've selected my Hey Grace Late Minis, how are you? Even though that's where I've selected my chat from. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Yeah, it's still not showing your chats for some reason signed, so at the moment, Grace Lake Minis, I have got the chat on the screen for some reason is only showing yourself, which is the live chat for the top chat for some reason, and not showing my live chat, which is where I have the lovely Signed with Blood trying to chat as well. Because I've gone back to streaming just using OBS and YouTube because I wasn't really getting much traction through Twitch and Facebook. So I thought, instead of spending a large amount of money, which we were paying to be able to stream across 3 platforms, to try this. But for some reason it doesn't want to show Sign's messages. Is Twitch sabotaging? I don't think so. I've actually disconnected the Twitch now, so I think it's definitely playing up though. Just has got everything right, I think, and then all of a sudden the chat doesn't want to work. Oh, the joys. Because I'd like it if we could actually, you know, see everybody in the chat and not just the odd few people. What I'm gonna do, Twitch is rough to get traction on, I found. I only use YouTube these days. Added bonus that it saves your lives, and they are all count towards the earning goal. This is very, very true. What I'm gonna quickly do is hide the chat again and see if it allows me to re-add the URL to see if I can update it. Because I would like to be able to see everybody's chats. I don't just want to see 1 or 2 people, I want to see everybody. I want everybody else to be able to see everybody too. Because otherwise it's not much of a conversation if I can only see half of if people can only see half, isn't it? I am using pop-out chat through OBS. Yeah, I've tried using Streamlabs earlier on today and it wasn't playing nice with me. So tried using pop-out chat through OBS. And earlier on when I was doing some tests it seemed to be working, but it works on live chat, or on top chat, but not live chat. Which is slightly strange. It's a very interesting way to start the live. I'm very sorry, guys. In YouTube, there's a drop down at the top of the chat window which is switched to live chat to see signed. Yeah, that's what I've gone ahead and selected. In YouTube, there's a drop down at the top of the chat window which I had to switch to live chat to see signed. Okay. Yeah, I've got it switched to live chat, and for some reason it's allowing me to view them on my pop-out, but not on the screen for some reason. You are invisible for some reason. I don't know why, signed. I don't know why you're invisible, because even if other people obviously switch to live chat, they can see your messages. I just don't know why it doesn't appear on the screen. This is very strange. I can see you signed with blood. Okay. Yeah, I can see you sign with blood. Damn it, I have been caught. Yeah, I'm going to have a little configure there, I think. But at the moment, obviously, I can see... Yeah, for some reason it says chop chat, but when I've input my capture, I've had it on live chat when I've selected my... I can go back to pretending I cannot see you if that's your preference. No, please don't ignore me. I'm gonna try one more time to see if I can get this to work. And then, if after that it still doesn't want to work, then we'll have to obviously just fix it another time so we can obviously get on with the stream. As long as you can read them now, that's fine. I can. Right. Yeah, I'm going to just crack on with the stream, guys, because it seems to be playing... it does seem to be playing up. It doesn't want to access live chat, even though when I've gone in and corrected the URL, it says live chat in that rather than top chat. It's just having a bit of a meh. Currently assembling, or rather sub-assembling, my Lord Exulate for the EC is very cool. I'm going to go in with, I'm going to start with Slanesh Grey as my highlight shade for the cape here. But how is everybody? How's everybody's day going so far? I'm working my way through basing my Darkwater stuff. Ooh, Slanesh approves. Slanesh does approve. What kind of basing are you doing for your pieces, for your Darkwater stuff? I can say I've had better days. That doesn't sound very good. Everything okay, signed? I'm keeping it simple as I'm working on a how-to series for the box, but so far essentially fill it smooth with water and some sand to represent the weird mossy growth. Ooh. That sounds actually very interesting. Today was the office Xmas party and I'm currently on sick leave. I had mentioned wanting to go, but some people at the office found it strange that I wanted to go. We had, obviously I didn't attend our work Christmas party because of being heavily pregnant, but we had I think our work Christmas do was last weekend, and there's currently somebody who's on sick leave for that, and she attended, and nobody batted an eye, so I don't know why they would make you feel strange about it. Because just because you're not in work doesn't mean you don't want to hang out with the people you work with. Especially if you get along with the people you work with. Yeah, that is very strange. I'm sad they made you feel terrible about it as well, so it's not very nice of them. It's not fair on you at all. Exactly, but turns out a few in my own team found that strange. My boss had called for that. So yeah, people I thought I got along with talk behind my back. Essentially, I'm trying to replicate the texture on the Warhammer site, and filler seems to work. And it's newbie friendly, cheap, so bonus. Yeah, that isn't the nicest sensation in the world, signed. That is obviously a very good choice, obviously, for doing a how-to Grey Slayer. Anything that makes it beginner friendly and gets more interaction is obviously fantastic. I had a similar thing, like I did like a little notification to kind of say, well, you get it every now and then in a few workplaces, unfortunately. But obviously it's never a nice feeling. Officers are just like that. People gossip. Being off sick, might not be physically sick, which would make sense to not be there / spread the plague. But if it's other reasons, then why not? People suck. I completely agree. And we've had this discussion as well. Like Signed has already mentioned in like a previous stream that for her it is more on the mental side, obviously, because we do have to prioritise our mental and physical health. Both are important. And sometimes, I don't think people realise, sometimes social interaction is the thing that's key, like that's the good thing. So, most likely because it's the end of the year and it's busy, so my colleague who also does payroll maybe feels abandoned. To be honest, I had a previous employer where I was in an office job. It was like a computer-based job. And I really suffered with really severe mental health at the time. So I took time off to kind of prioritise that and focus on that. And I literally had people messaging me going, have you tried, just showing up and seeing what happens? I'm like, yes, actually, multiple times. It doesn't work like that always. And it just goes to show people just don't fully understand things or necessarily want to understand things. Sometimes people are just rude and some people are just like that. Have you tried just feeling better? Yeah, that's how how simple that would be. That is literally what I had. And at the time, it was obviously quite severe mental health problems for me, unfortunately. And I was still trying to go in every single day. Like I was doing the commute. I was going there every single day, and I was like having panic attacks. I was being sick. I was all sorts of horrible things were going on. Like I physically could not do it. But I was still trying every single day, but, sometimes we need to do other things to kind of help with that, and sometimes one of those things you need to do is take the time off to actually prioritise it, which is what you're doing, so like you're prioritising your mental state, making sure that's in the right working order, so that you can then return to the workforce. I've just gone ahead and just adjust that lighting for me for a second. I've gone ahead and just using Slanesh Grey, just gone over the edges of her cloak just to kind of bring a little bit of that contrast in and that brightness. Yep, it doesn't help that my boss had to correct something I had done wrong. She's not happy with me at the moment, and I'm not sure what to do next. I mean, if she's making it hostile, then that is definitely something you could bring up to human resources. And if you've done something wrong, like correcting something is part of that sometimes, the only way you're going to learn. My favourite is when mostly old people in the office complain about how people are more flaky these days as opposed to people being more ignorant historically. I wish I could just pull a switch. Grey Slayer minis. I completely agree. It's not a pleasant experience, and obviously the last thing anybody should be doing is putting themselves in a position where they are suffering just for the sake of trying to make everybody else's lives easier. It's not a pleasant experience. The other one I got is I've had the odd day at work, especially during pregnancy, where I've had a little bit of an emotional day and I've had a few tears here and there. And I've always been that sort of person that kind of takes herself off, recalibrates, and then goes back into it. Just because I think that's what you need to do sometimes. And people have like literally felt the need to say to me, "Oh, you've got to be stronger than this. You're going to be a mum soon." And I'm like, "Excuse me? What does that mean?" It's also hard to quantify things to people that you might not fully understand yourself. Exactly, 100%. But yeah, in my case, I just had people just saying to me like, "Oh, you can't be crying. Like you're gonna be a mum soon. You need to be tougher than this." It's like, am I not allowed to show emotion as a parent? When did that become part of the qualifications? Not to mention the idea of like quantifying things to people that you might not fully understand. These are people that you might not feel particularly comfortable sharing that much with as well. Like they don't know you in your personal life outside of work. And sometimes the things we struggle with, we don't need to share with absolutely everybody. And our work colleagues do qualify as that because some people in work are just that. They are just work colleagues and nothing else. Just getting up my photo of this lovely lady. Okay, I'm gonna grab some 100%, but yeah, people are peopling and often they suck. Agreed. I'm gonna go in with some Stormhost Silver. BRB, little one needs a hand. Absolutely understand. Go with some Stormhost Silver to highlight the silver that we did yesterday. I mean, we give each other birthday gifts and such, so I thought we got along, but seems no. So when I return on the 5th, it's going to be interesting. Not exactly a most pleasant experience. I had something similar like last year, where you kind of thought people would respect you a bit more, you knew them a bit more. invited them to an event and loads of them said they were coming. And then on the day, none of them showed up. And I was like, okay. And no one gave me an explanation. And not in a good way, no. Like, not one of them gave me an explanation, not one of them apologised. And it was very disheartening. Yeah, I'm very sorry you having to go through that, Signed. It's not fun for anybody. And you're an especially lovely person, so you don't deserve to be treated unfairly. Fortunately, I have the support from my bestie and my Warhammer friends. That helps a lot. Of course it does. Obviously, sometimes people just suck, unfortunately. But, you know, it's nice when you can go into a workplace and socialise with people and get on with people. If you can hear rolling of a toy in the background, it's because my cats have suddenly decided that now is the perfect time to play with their loudest toys, apparently. I don't know why. Case in point. Why are you choosing your loud toy to play with right now, kids? I'm back. She needed help with some priority Haribo opening. Now that is important. I completely understand that. What type of Haribo, though? That is the next question. You just can't mess with the Haribo. Haribo are important. Oh. My cats are going absolutely insane. I don't know why they're choosing this time of day to go nuts and to have zoomies, but apparently they are. Goldbears and Straubs is the last of our Haribo stash, of our hot Halloween stash. That seems pretty valuable to me, though. Just tried again to re-input the chat so it's trying to show as live, but seems to be having a bit of a mess still. Golden Bears are pretty impressive though when it comes to Haribo. They are quite an elite suite of Haribo, in my opinion. May have to take that toy off the cat in a moment. They're choosing to roll it underneath the table where I'm sat trying to stream. They've been sleeping all day, and now they're choosing to play with the loudest toy they own. Archangel, how are you? I have now just upset my cat for taking away his rolly loud toy. If it helps, I can't hear anything from the cats. That's okay. They have one of these toys with a ball in it, and essentially they're just rolling it around on the floor and making as much noise as physically possible. And he's very sweet, but it's all I can hear, and it's quite distracting. The old campaign. I see the Darkwater box set, turn on the stream, and see a nice painting job. Do you play the game, or are you just a hobbyist? I am. We do play the game, so we are currently painting through, and then in the new year, we will be, well, hopefully in the new year, we'll be doing a few streams playing it. But there will be a little bit of an interruption because I'm currently literally potentially days away from giving birth. So, yeah, it seems to be working. It's just, for some reason, it still doesn't want to show signs messages. It's just very, very rude. For anybody who is watching this through YouTube, at the top of your screen you have the option to do top chat or live chat. If you switch it to live chat, then you can see everybody's messages. Because for some reason I have one particular person in here called Sign with Blood, and it doesn't like to show her messages for some reason. I must have done something to offend YouTube. Says Signed. I don't think so. At this point I've tried re-inputting it 5 or 6 times, and it's just not wanting to work for your messages for some reason, Signed, even though I can see them on my my pop-out chat, which is where I've got the URL from. It just doesn't seem to want to work. Man, YouTube got some weird ways of going about things. It does. It does indeed, old campaign. But how is everybody? Is everyone having a good evening? I like the peaches. I've also saw that messages on there. The peaches are good. How are you actually? You're officially on... you're officially on for Halloween, for Christmas holidays now? Yeah, YouTube got some weird things going on. I don't quite know why. I'm just using some, what's it called again? Stormhost Silver here to do some highlights on the armour, by the way. I just finished working for Xmas, so I'm buzzing. Fantastic. I think my cats have found another toy with a bell in it. Doing editing work myself, preparing to drive an hour to see a friend before he goes to Orlando for Christmas. Then got my own ADMX to paint for a competition in a few months. God, I hate them. Are they being the bane of your existence currently? I currently have a cat who's adorable, staring at me, rolling a very loud toy, and then also eyeing at my Christmas tree like he's considering knocking it down. And I'm hoping he does not. Football, darts, boxing, and Warhammer. Can't beat it. That sounds like a pretty good plan, to be honest, Arch. Yeah, if you do hear any toys in the background, I do apologise. My cats have literally been sleeping all day. And now apparently it's playtime. They'll get bored in a minute, I'm sure. just going to move on to 3 boxes of guitar, 3 tech priests, 2 different kinds. My Bane as an Imperial Knights player. Oof. Literally right before my stream, I had my cats trying to sit on my desk as well. They were all trying to sit right where my camera is, so clearly they wanted to be on stream today, and then the minute I actually hit play, they decided not to. Give me 1 second. Okay. Now the cat sat on the other side of the desk at me looking at the toys I've just taken off of him, his loud ones, and going, I want to play those. Doesn't balance. I don't understand how to do highlight. It just turns into a messy mess. This is something I really struggled with. Highlights is used to be the bane of my existence, so I would kind of just tend to dry brush things to kind of give the impression of a highlight. And yeah, it doesn't always work, but I'm getting there. Nerdy fam, you're pre-ordering the special edition Siege of Terror book. It looks nice. We haven't pre-ordered it yet, but I'm sure Mr. Nerd will be easily convinced. The way I've kind of improved my highlighting skills doesn't balance is literally just by continuing to do it, no matter how much it annoys me or doesn't look quite right. It's just from doing it, but I've tried edge highlighting, works best for me. It does, but it's rather expensive. Archangel says signed. At the moment, every single one of my Christmas gifts from Mr. Nerd is Dark Angel stuff. So, for Christmas. So dry brushing, yeah. So before, that was how I would do some form of highlight. I would just dry brush with a really, really light colour like a grey or a white. And I'd focus it around the edges to kind of give the impression of a highlight. It doesn't balance, just to kind of help it that way. And now I've learned if I use a thin enough brush, which I just got this literally is a really inexpensive set that I got off Amazon. They're like £8 for 5 brushes. And they've got this like obviously chunky handle here, so it gives me maximum control when I'm using them. And therefore I have the full power to keep it balanced when I'm doing the edges. So that's what I use at the moment to do my highlights, and since I started using these and doing edge highlighting, I found that that's worked for me. Still not the best when it comes to like highlighting certain sections to kind of give the impression of like a casting of light. I still need to work on that, but slowly and surely I will improve. Slowly but surely. Nice, I'll keep working on it then. Definitely. Like I said, there's been multiple figures in the past where people have told me like, is this incomplete? Did you mean to not do highlights? And I'm like, in some cases yes, but in other cases it's just because I didn't feel confident enough doing them. So because of that, I'm like, I'd rather not add something and ruin something that I'm liking the look of by trying to add highlights. But now I'm in a much better position to be able to actually improve it. It's just taken me time. I've been doing this for a year. Edge highlights really come down to two things: practice and quality of your brush. Artist Opus are fabulous but expensive. Their 00 and 000 brushes are great if you care for them, for them, bit of brush soap. We tend to use, what we got recommended for also keeping our brushes clean and maintained is obviously making sure that you're not overloading them with product, first and foremost, so you're not damaging the base of your brush. So once a week or so, I will just take my brushes and I'll soak them in warm water, but obviously leaving them completely flat when I soak them, not in a pot like so, because otherwise you're just going to damage the brushes. But I'll soak them just to make sure there's no product build-up inside the actual bit here. And then something that someone recommended to us is actually using hair wax products to kind of shape them. So you reshape the tip, and then obviously when you use water, the next time you use them, you wash all that hair product out, that hair wax out. And yeah, that helps, which is a pretty inexpensive trick that we've kind of learnt that works for us. I've just put the pot down somewhere, but I'm currently using Sycorax. Yeah, hair wax. So I use like a pomade type thing. Got recommended to it by the manager of our local shop, actually. I was like, why? Like, that seems very bizarre, but it works really well, actually. But yeah, just a simple like men's hair wax, tiny bit of that on your fingers, which are damp, and you use it to shape the bristle of the brush. And yeah, you can then straighten out your brush tips as it dries. Obviously, it keeps the bristles set in that position. And then when you go to use your brush next, obviously you're going to dip it in water anyway, and it washes off all that product. And you have a nice, sharp, pointy brush to use again. And you can get like a hair wax for £2 or £3 sometimes here in the UK, so very inexpensive. And it works quite well as a way to not necessarily fix your brushes, but help to maintain your brushes without spending a small fortune. I put my paint down and I can't find it in my pile of paints now, but I'm just using Sycorax Bronze just to kind of go over the edges of the armour, the bronze armour. But I'm tempted to go in with some silver to actually highlight this as well, just to really bring it out. Is everybody prepped for Christmas now then? Or are we doing some last minute shopping over the next week? Correct. See, for me, Christmas is being spent alone this year because Mr. Nerd is away working. He's back a couple of days after Christmas, so we've had like our Christmas already essentially, and then we'll have like a mini one kind of when he gets home, because obviously all the food will be slightly cheaper, so I can go out and buy a couple of like meat joints or something like that, nice, and organise it that way. I need to go into the city on Thursday to do mine. Not looking forward to it. Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. But yeah, Mr. Nerd is away working. This week he's on nights, so he's kind of in the background but not really chatting. Don't you have family to stay with? No, not where we live now. But it's also because Christmas Day falls about 6 days before little man's due date. And at that point, if I haven't already given birth, I'm not really going to be in the mood to move pretty much anywhere. So I have no problem spending this Christmas alone, because my mentality, in a way, is it'll be the last one I ever spend alone, which sounds really sad, but it will be. It'll be the last one I ever spend alone. So it's one of those little things. It's just, you know, it's about who, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be on the 25th. Obviously, traditionally it is, but Christmas Day is whenever you choose to have your Christmas. I'll be with you in spirit. Thank you, signed. I appreciate it. But it'll be nice regardless, so I'm planning on popping out to like our local shop in the next couple of days. I've still got a few Christmas cards to send off. They might get there now just after Christmas. But unfortunately, when I was a bit unwell last week, I couldn't really get out of the house to post those. Some people might be getting their Christmas cards just a few days after Christmas, but they'll still be getting a Christmas card. But they'll be being posted tomorrow. So I've got a few little jobs to do tomorrow before I come home to stream. Just going in with some Still Legion drab for a highlight for her hair now. Is anyone looking forward to gorging themselves on their Christmas dinner? Have they got a favourite part of Christmas dinner? Like, I'm a potatoes girl, so I like my potatoes, my roast potatoes. Food is my favourite part, lol. Exactly. Food in general is good. We tend to obviously have a turkey on Christmas Day, and then we get some form of, which is genuinely hilarious given how tiny I am. You're only a little one. To be honest, obviously, I'm only 5'2". I'm only a very small human being in height. Sorry, I had to pause my mic for a second because my cat was deciding he wanted to climb inside my Christmas tree. We have 4 cats, one of which is a ragdoll, and he is humongous. And for some reason, he has an obsession with the Christmas tree like no other. 5'4" and £100, so obvious US measurements. I have a tiny Xmas tree for a reason. Literally, before we got our ragdoll, it was not an issue. And then since we got our ragdoll, he's just got an obsession with our Christmas tree. And because he is on the larger side, like I said, because he is a ragdoll, he is 20 inches long from nose to tail. He's a very large boy. I'm a whopping 5'6" and 2 heavy. I'm 5'2", and I don't know how much I weighed, because obviously I'm with child now, but I want to say like 10-ish. I was like 9 stone 7 last year. I think it was the last time I weighed myself. Which is like 130 pounds, roughly. And I think I'm probably about 10 and a bit stone now. It's like 140, 150, but I'm also with child, so I put a little bit of weight whilst carrying said child, but that is normal. Cats tend to have hunting instinct with the lights and ornaments. The thing is, it's just this one cat, and we've got 4. And the others are just not, they are not interested in the tree, even remotely. It's just my ragdoll. I think he just loves Christmas too much. That he wants to be the star on the Christmas tree. But I think the last time I had weight measurements for stones was when I was working with the Vatican. Well, that sounds very interesting. From all the bags I have, my Emperor's Children, you'd think I'm a dealer. To be honest, that sounds pretty like a pretty interesting thing. You are a dealer, just a dealer of Warhammer, so it's okay. And also working for the Vatican, that sounds like an interesting story. Sorry, I had to quickly get up. My cat had decided he was going to climb the Christmas tree. It was, 1 second. This fluffy-faced thing, right here. Beautiful blue-eyed baby is the cause of my problems today. He keeps trying to climb the Christmas tree. Go on, you pain in the bum. Off you go. So, yes, Mr. Teeters. Look at the meower. Yeah, he's beautiful, but he's being a bit of a troublemaker today. He's being the problem child for some reason when he's normally very, very sweet and very well behaved. But today he's being the problem child. So a stone is 6.35 kilograms. With eyes like that, though, your cat gets away with anything. He does. That's the problem. And he's been very needy. He's been spending most of his day asleep. And then, more or less, the moment he has woken up, he's just been crying at me for attention, and he has had it. And his favourite thing in the entire world is being carried around like a baby. Like a literal human child. That is his favourite thing in the world. And when Mr. Nerd went back to work the other day, he sulked all day. And he pouted and cried. So he is like having a human child. Just a very fluffy one. Cats, they act like they live. They act like they love you, rub up against you, and then swipe, eviscerate you with the first with the bishop claws. Thing is, we're very, very lucky. We have 4, and not one of them has any of that energy at all. They cry at us, and then they ignore us. I put something in at Rothmer's Discord, my extra present to myself. Speaking of Discord. Mr. Nerd's going to be working on that. Ideally, maybe tonight, if not tomorrow. So hopefully, by next stream, we will have a Discord. We will have a Nerdy Miniatures Discord live, so you guys can also all join us in there, which would be lovely. Sorry, I got very, very distracted by my cats misbehaving for me to continue painting. I'm very sorry. I'll continue now. Yeah, all of our cats, they just tend to cry at us, and that's about it. They don't have any vicious bones in their body, any of them. And we have 4. Unfortunately, I have a minor allergy to a cat. Nothing major, just gets sick easier. My dog, however, thinks she's a rug. Lol. That sounds about right. What kind of dog do you have? Because this is the thing, on the Discord, when it's set up, we will be having an animal page. So people can share photos of their cats and their puppers and whatever other animal they have. Because myself and Mr. Nerd are just animal lovers in general. We love all kind of animals. All my dog does is snore and fart. Yeah, that sounds about right. I grew up with border collies, aka sheepdogs. And they have like their little bursts of energy and then their extreme moments of intellect to the point that they cause more problems than anything else because they are almost too smart for their own good. What kind of dog do you have? Answer mutt. She was a stray, so the answer is yes. Oh, but the mutts and the mongrels are just the best. It's a mixture of everything. Is it quite a large dog? Quite a small dog? Gone ahead and added a little bit of Nightquester flesh to her hair, just to kind of add a few subtle highlights. Mine's a Dashawawa. Such a good name. We grew up with literally strictly border collies, and we had 1 Doberman when we were really, really young. And I'm like, Mr. Nerd and I, we've obviously got cats and stuff like that. We said if we were to ever get another dog, it would probably have to be... She's bigger than me, but so is my buddy's Yorkshire Terrier. I love that. Yeah, we grew up with, like my husband, Mr. Nerd, he grew up with German Shepherds. So... lots of like big dogs, big working breed dogs. That's what we've both grown up with and worked with. But yeah, I've always had border collies and 1 Doberman when we were really, really young. The cats are choosing to fight each other at the moment. Everything's going a bit haywire today on stream. I don't know why. I'm just going to go in with a tiny touch of orange in the lantern. I might make it orangey red, actually. So for that, I'm mixing a tiny bit of Methystone red. Wants to focus. Methystone red and a tiny bit of Fire Dragon Bright, just to kind of add a little bit of extra colour to the lantern. Yeah, the thing is as well, I think I've always found about big dogs is that their favourite thing in the world is to think they are not a big dog. And think they are probably the size of Archangel's dog. And I'm sure Archangel's dog thinks that they're a big dog. Just add a little bit of orangey red just into the little holes that are inside that lantern. Just kind of show there's obviously a brighter light, a light glowing from the inside in there. And I'm probably going to go over that again with a little bit more of Cassandra yellow. Just give it an extra coat. But yeah, our Border Collies, their favourite thing in the world was to try and sit on you. And obviously to put their entire weight on you. And that wouldn't be anything small. I think the lightest one was about 20 kilograms. I just noticed something on my flawless blades. They are in heels. Well, they sound fabulous. Why not? They can probably walk better in heels than I can, to be honest. I cannot walk in heels. It saved my life. Just going in with a little bit of white scar on my... she's got like a few bandages around her arms and stuff. I'm just going to highlight the edges with a little bit of this. My dog has wee man syndrome, shouts his odds at bigger dogs, then in reality they'd use him like a chew toy. Iris, my dog, doesn't really want to crawl on you. She does like to lean on you though while you slap her belly. Sounds like she's perfect to me. Yeah, we grew up with a like a family friend who had a Cocker Spaniel. And no, a Spring, yeah, it was like a Cocker Spaniel cross thing. And yeah, she thought she was massive. She thought she was absolutely humongous. She thought she was a Rottweiler, when in reality a Rottweiler would use her as a chew toy. But you know, that's one of the many perks of having having dogs like that. I shall show you just this one photo of one of them from a few years ago now. This one has since passed away, but she was a very good girl. Big, beautiful girl. Right, I'm just going to get some colours to highlight her face now. I've been using the Morghast bone to paint bandages and such on my models though. Though I bought for my Soblite Gravelord skeletons, I need to paint those. That tends to happen. You tend to put things aside for specific projects and then they end up being used for other things. I do that quite often. We will be sending those figures to you signed. Right now we're just in the process of building everything. And once we've built everything, we will then send stuff. Starting with a little bit of Kislev flesh here for my highlight shade. And I'm going to mix a tiny bit of white scar in with that. And I'm focusing this down the brighter section of the face, so the middle of the face. As long as it gets to me whilst I'm still here, or my bestie will have to bring it over once she visits. Just focusing that right now. Wants to focus on her forehead, her cheeks, her nose and her chin. I just bought a grave guard box, hard to find now, for my Cursed City expansions. Looking forward to building them along with the rest of my Mount Everest of Grey Shame. We're slowly, well, we've been dwindling down our Grey Shame by doing these streams, but then we start buying more stuff and it just amplifies it again. So, yeah, cutting down our Grey Shame pile is not really working out very well for us at the moment. Oh. Just highlighted the most central parts of her face there. Yeah, she's pretty cool. So far, let me just take these two toys out of this box that I've been hiding them in. Figures we've painted so far are obviously this lovely lady. And then we've painted... Oh, if I can not drop things, that would be fantastic. The Enchantress, who is very, very cool. Little dwarfy boy. And then Whisper the dog, which we've renamed Cinders. Fine job on Inara, thank you very much. We decided to go for a fire theme rather than the jade theme for this boy, just because why not? But then as a result, Whisper didn't really suit him as a name, so we've renamed him Cinders. Got a favourite army of Age of Sigmar? I don't... They all look fantastic. Thank you very much, Sight. Damn, these look fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate it. So we've been doing this for a year. So I'm really happy with how much progress I've made in the last year to get to this point. But obviously over time it's only going to improve even further. I have a combination of two different things for Age of Sigmar. So I started off with... I'm going to just reset up our next figure whilst we talk for a second. I started off with Sylvaneth because I love my tree people. And then I've recently moved on to my Nighthaunt as well. So I love both for different reasons. But I have more Sylvaneth, so I probably have to go with Sylvaneth. Just because I like the fact they're mischievous and kind of mess around a little bit. And even though they are part of Order, they're not really, in the sense of, if you mess with the trees or something like that, even if you're like quote unquote on their side, they're still going to hurt you, they're still going to go after you. Just don't mess with the trees and you'll be fine. And I think that's the good mentality to have with working with them, and it's quite enjoyable. Just getting up the reference photo for this gentleman here, which is Edmark Valoran, the Manticore Knight, who looks pretty epic, to be honest. So this is who we're going to work on now. My friend went about it in a similar way. He started with the lizards and is now able to make a field look like a forest. It really just depends, I think. Oh, manticores. Yes. So we're working on this guy now. I'm going to go in with the red first. So I'm going to use... in fact, I'm going to use corn red as my base for that. And then I'll use Methystone red as my highlight for that a bit later. It took me about an hour to highlight, obviously with some distraction from my cats, to highlight Bren. So, like I said, I'm leaving my bases at the moment because I'm still kind of deciding how I want my bases to look. So whilst I'm still deciding, I'd rather not add anything to them yet, just so I can work on that. I started with vampires myself because of Blood Bowl. I should get back into Blood Bowl. Corn Red is the superior red. I agree, I do love Corn Red, but I love Methystone as a highlight shade. It works beautifully as a highlight shade, and if you're doing anything with fire, I really enjoy Methystone, and then I use Corn Red normally as a base for that. The painting coach did a bang up job on Edmark, only just catching up on my painting vids. To be honest, it's rare I get to do anything nighty, and but I've enjoyed the fact that I get to work, like, paint lots of things with lots of capes and armour for this. So it's been rather enjoyable because, like I said, I've done tree people and I've done ghosts. So, and like bone reapers and stuff like that. So I don't really get to paint many human things. So, and you were saying earlier on your little guys have heels that'll make your theme for obviously adding glitter to stuff a lot easier. So it makes them look extra fabulous. So earlier on last week, we essentially had symptoms that I was potentially going to be going into labour, which is why I was taking a couple of days off of videos and streaming last week. And then symptoms just kind of stopped, so I'm back to obviously doing everything as normal. Hopefully the next time I randomly stop, it will be because the wee lad has decided to arrive. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. Yes, all the glitter. Absolutely. Question is, what colour? There we go. Very fabulously red cape. Pink because they're Emperor's children, of course. God, I've got 4 little sisters that each have kids of their own now. I sometimes still find glitter on me, especially when I visit or babysit. This is the thing, glitter you will never get rid of, no matter how hard you try. It's a constant thing. You either have to just accept it or hate on it forever. There is no other way, unfortunately. It's just the way it has to be done. My mother was a little bit of like a heretic growing up as a child, in the sense of she used to make glitter bomb cards for people for birthdays. And she used to obviously send people glitter bomb cards, so people would either love it or really, really hate it. Sometimes I get off the toilet and notice sparkly crap. It's literally everywhere. Yeah, I mean, at the moment... Oh yes, I can find glitter that I use in a hobby room in the kitchen. I work a retail job where I pack a lot of clothing, and obviously this time of year especially, that produces a lot of glitter, and I tend to wear a lot of black at work especially. So the amount of times I've gone in wearing a just a plain black top and I've come home covered in just a glitter field everywhere, it's quite impressive, but also vaguely annoying, because it just means that every time I do a load of washing, I can almost guarantee my washing machine's going to be full of glitter. Good to think glitter just like transport through dimensions to make sure there's at least one random piece in one random room somewhere at all times. Okie dokie. Looks like my main colour again is going to be Leadbelcher for this guy's armour. Surprise, surprise, not really. So I'm going to go in with some Leadbelcher here to paint the rest of his armour. And then I'm going to be using, of course, some Retributor Gold or Retributor Armour for the gold elements on this guy. And there are some black elements, so... So I decided that these flawless blades will be wearing Louboutin heels, but with a pink underside instead of red. That sounds fabulous to me. Hang on, there's another red bit. I shall paint that red first before I move on to anything else. Remember when I worked at a steak and shake for Halloween? I dressed as a tech priest. The costume had so much glitter to stimulate the machine, pieces. Oof. Those shoes aren't made to be comfortable, so it adds to the Sinesh thing. Yeah, definitely. I used to work in a Halloween store many years ago, and I am of like English and Irish origin, aka a very pale human being, and I remember like going into work just as a zombie because it was like easy for me to just wear like my normal clothes with just make them a little bit tattier, and then just put on some like grey-ish makeup just to make myself look obviously undead. And then I realised I mixed white face paint with my regular foundation, and it matched my complexion better than my foundation did. That was a very harrowing reminder of how pale I am. And when I say pale, I mean pale. That building went up in flames a few years ago, and I still hear about the glitter from my costume 10 years ago. Oh god. Yeah, on the day I dressed as a zombie, obviously went in wearing zombie makeup. I got asked like if I'd done my makeup specifically to like, look like a zombie, and I was like, yes. And they were like, you can't really tell. I was like, cheers guys. I know I'm pale, but that's just rude. Just rude. the cat that's currently having zoomies is my 13-year-old cat. So it's actually quite adorable to see her running around. I live in Florida now. I'm the whitest guy in the state. Where are you originally from? I'm pretty sure I could blind people with my paleness. It's quite impressive. Equally, like, I still remember going to like a few makeup stands as a teen, and my mum would go out with me, and she's like, "Okay, let's if you're gonna put your foundation on, we need to put one that matches." I'm bloody pale Alrasia. I'm bloody Scottish. Thing is, I'm Irish and English, so it's you can just see every. Sorry if you'll get creeped out by veins. I'm very sorry. Yes, it's just white. It's just white, and that is my entire body. It's quite horrific. Chicago, oh, the Windy City, indeed. Wonderful. And obviously Chicago has some pretty intense winters. Oh, please, I outpay all of you. See, this is the opposite. I've got the problem of I have a husband who is, to my knowledge, of English descent and not much else to his knowledge also. And then the minute it comes to summer, just tans beautifully and goes a gorgeous bronze colour. And there's nothing good out of Chicago. Well, that's a lie, because you're out of Chicago. So clearly there is something good out of Chicago. Yeah, we can start with that silver now. I stand by what I said and I listened to Disturbed. Well, I stand by what I said as well. Yeah, my origins for Irish is of Tipperary and Cork, so it's very, very, very much pale, and I'm more Irish than I am English by blood, and it's just, yeah, all the white skin. Actually, I do stand corrected. The Chicago Transit Authority, which got renamed to Chicago because CTA sued them. Oh dear. I am Belgium, to who knows what's in there. So who knows what's in there. Yeah, with Belgium, like, you're going to have a mixture of lots of lovely things. Like, I do want to do like a bit of an ancestry test, but I just know it would be the most white person response everywhere. I know I have the original band members of Chicago met while working for CTO. Wow. We had I know in my family I've got like a little bit of Spanish in me really far down the line, and some African American in me really far down the line. But other than that, it'd be like, what is she? White. White, white, and more white. I mean, we had Romans, Germanic tribes, Spaniards, the French, the Germans. Yeah, you have a lot going on there. And don't get me wrong, a lot of those were very, very white. When people ask me, what are you? I always respond with, American. I think that's the appropriate response. In fact, I think it's the only valid response. That is now stuck in my head. Our campaign, so thank you for that. It's gonna be fun thinking that in my head for the next, like, probably couple of hours at least. Unfortunately, I get my jet fighter taken away by the TSA. The one thing I do have going for me, though, obviously I can't do it at the moment due to being pregnant, is I know how to handle my alcohol. Very well. Both a blessing and a curse. I mean, being Irish, you're guaranteed to have some strong genes there. Too many alcoholics in my family. I refuse to even risk it. That is completely valid. That's completely valid reason not to. Not to mention there are far better things you can spend your money on, like Warhammer. Which is equally addictive, agreed. I think you said it yourself, Arch, that there's a reason why you ignored the hobby for so long, because you knew you would fall back into it and it would just be incredibly addictive. At this point, most of my money is going into publishing books and trying to figure out copyright and trademark laws, the insanity. What kind of books do you write? Or publish? It started to look rather nighty. Conquer Creation publishes TTRPG books. Right now, we're working on Saloon, Magic Cowboys, and tuning cartoon comedy style RPGs. You could use the Cowboy Crimson for his cape, definitely, or Targor Rage. To be honest, I'm tempted to use Targor for his armor, and then use the Carabag for his cape. So I have my my cat here, my 13-year-old, who's just suddenly decided she wants some affection, so it'd be rude of me to ignore her. Right. I'm going to go in with some Retributor armor now because I'm going to fill in his shield. That's where words out then. Remember what I was saying. Why does Kerblo sound like an exotic bird? It does, kind of. Why did I read that as Kerblo Crimson? I ask myself why I read things in many ways, like far too often. Lurking for a bit. Little one needs showering and put to bed. That is completely fine. Prioritising the little one is the important part. Officially been in a position now where the little ones. Oh my god, my missus. Are you okay? Yeah, little man's the walls in little man's room have now been prepped and sanded, so now I can just prime and paint those in the next week or so. Well, by the end of the week, ideally. So hopefully soon, as soon as his room is done completely, I can just focus back on YouTube content and getting that prioritised until obviously I go on to quote-unquote maternity leave, even though I'm already on maternity leave, but I mean a bit of maternity leave from this as well. Just while I adjust to that. Yeah, what happened? I hope everything's okay. You old campaign, what time is it at the moment where you are? It's currently about to be 7:40 p.m. here in the UK. Wish you the best of luck with driving our campaign. Drive safe. I'm sure she doesn't do it on purpose. At least I hope she didn't. Yeah. To double check whether or not these little stringy bits attached to his head are also gold. They are. Wonderful. By the way, did you get your Horus Heresy Primarch? I didn't get the one for Mr. Nerd. I went on to like re-bet on it because someone else had obviously bet on it as well, and they skyrocketed the price by there was like 4 other people watching it. It went from 60 quid to £120 in 4 hours. But Mr. Nerd has purchased me Lion, Horus Heresy version, so I've got mine. But just gotta wait for it to come back in stock now for me to buy it for Mr. Nerd. So he can have Mortarion if he desires, or if there's another one on there he prefers, then we'll go that way. The plan is to obviously eventually get every single one of them. Slowly but surely. The typical just go and wait for Games Workshop restock. Yeah, at the moment. It was typical as well, because like the first one I found that wasn't already painted. And I thought, oh, perfect. And unfortunately, I just had a look. According to the internet, according to Warhammer, it's currently back in stock on Warhammer. So maybe purchasing that after work, after I'm done here. But who knows? I have the Warhammer stuff open, obviously, because I'm checking for colours. I thought, I'll have a quick search whilst I'm on here. And it is currently available. At the moment, I just want Vulcan and Sanguinius. I understand that. Everyone wants a little bit of space Jesus. At the moment, there was like a little thing coming out about like a new Daemon Primarch kind of coming, or like an old Daemon Primarch obviously coming back out. At the moment, it's obviously looking at potentially like Portorabo is going to be making a return. Just going in with some Abaddon Black on the rest of the shield. But since there seems to be a lot of hype around good old Lion at the moment, and seems to be getting a lot of releases, I have a feeling we're going to get some more Lion content very, very soon. Hopefully. Good old Peter Turbo, exactly. Yeah, I think he's going to be making a little bit of a return. And then hopefully very, very soon we will get the reunion between Gulliman and Lion. Although I don't think it's going to be as cozy as people hope. I think it's going to be a little bit difficult. But yeah, I think we're going to be seeing some good old Peter Turbo very soon. And obviously we know we're seeing Lion in Dawn of War. I wonder. There needs to be a bro hug. I don't care what the law says. It's been 10,000 years. I wonder if the big reunion will be in 500 Worlds. I've already made a Black Alley pre-order for that set and the Titus box. There was talk about Lorgar coming, about Lemon Russ, who can stay wherever the he is. To be honest, I think either Lorgar or, pardon me, or Tarabo could be like the ones that are returning as far as like certain campaign, and then obviously, if not both, I think there will be a bro hug eventually, but I don't think it's going to start off with a bro hug. I think there's going to be a little bit of conflict before the bro hug, potentially a little fist fight first, and then the bro hug. We were watching a video the other day about like who the strongest Primarch actually is in an order. I can't remember what the video was on. It was on Facebook, I think. But I think they put Lion as number 2 or number 3, Sanguinius as number 1, and I think Horus was number 3. I mean, but you have to read the Lion's novel, otherwise I'm spoiling too much. I have started reading it now. Vulcan is strongest. I can't remember what exactly their basis of was. Vulcan was in there in that list, but it was like based off of other traits other than just general strength. Yeah, so like as far as raw physical power goes, and obviously you've got Vulcan, and then Sanguinius is considered like the greatest overall. It's Bobby G. Anything else is heresy. Yeah, for physical strength / raw power, they say Vulcan, Ferrus Manus, and Angron. And then for combat prowess, they say Sanguinius, Lion, and psychic / warp power, Magnus the Red, and then chaos ascended power, Horus Lupercal. Oh, good. When you're at the end, let me know. I will. I promise. A little bit more black now. Throw my brush across the floor as well while I'm at it. Got this very tiny top section up here that I need to get some black into. There we go. Eddie V is coming along nicely, Mama Nerd. Thank you very much. What's going on with my camera today? It does not want to stay on focus. I haven't reset it or anything. It's just not enjoying. It's not having a good time today. Yeah, we should more or less be done with this with the goods campaign by tomorrow, maybe? Because I've got 2 more to do. So I think what I'll do is on tomorrow's stream, I will like completely finish them all off. And then build some of the bad guys so that as of Friday, we can then start doing the bad side, the villain side of this campaign, because then we've got all of our good guys finished to completion. So tomorrow's will be... Take those 2 out. These 2 tomorrow. Although I think he needs a tiny bit more of a spray, because he's just ever so slightly pigmented, so I think he needs a second spray, but I'll do that tomorrow. So I've got a Jade Wizard to do tomorrow, and then obviously this guy, I can't remember the name of him for the sake of me at the moment. But those 2 are to be finished off tomorrow, and then we are done with the good guys. Going back in with some... Oh, that centaur looks cool. He does look really cool. I'm looking forward to painting him. Just going back in with some lead belcher just over the remaining parts of this axe. This battle axe he has. Forgot his name, but I love the wizard. Yeah, he is really, really cool. I know he's Jacobus Vine, I think I want to say, the wizard. He's got an interesting name. And then you have Kelthanor, who is the centaur. That's the one, exactly, that's the one. But they're both quite cool, to be honest. And I think I will do him in green, just because I haven't actually used that many green. I've used a lot of blue and a lot of red. So I will do him as the Jade Wizard. He'll just happen to have a fire puppy rather than a grass puppy. Yeah, Jacobus Vine. I'm gonna grab some. Where are you hiding from me? Brass Scorpion. I keep putting it over here because when I was streaming on Restream, it kind of flipped my camera. So every time I put anything on this side of the screen, you couldn't see it. So I'm used to doing that, so I need to readjust. So it's obviously mirroring me now. So I'm going with some Brass Scorpion just on the underlying part here and on his sword. And then a tiny bit of brown on his pouch here. And then the candle will obviously be filled in with candle colours. And then we can shade him. Also, haven't checked. Can you guys actually hear the music today? The hero characters are truly great, but the gems in the box are the Nurglers. They're such a fabulous set of grotesque minis. I'm really looking forward to painting them. Really looking forward to painting them. Yeah, I've been really looking forward to enjoying doing like the more gory characters, so I'm looking forward to painting the Nurgle side a lot. I think that Grub Witch is my favourite. It's absolutely rancid. I've heard good things about the set, like it's supposed to be... Obviously, that's how it's supposed to look. So hopefully I can do it justice with the paint job. Fingers crossed. No pressure. Can you guys hear the background music okay? If at all. There we go. I always keep my hero characters clean and villain characters get copious amounts of Uhu glue with blood from the blood god. Yeah, background music tunes are there, awesome. Just wanted to check because I was having a few problems with those before I started streaming as well today. Like my technology today is having a little bit of a mare because I've gone from using a different software back to using OBS. And it just caused me a few delays and a few errors, but hopefully I can more or less work out any of the kinks. Because at the moment it still doesn't want to show signs comments for some reason, even though the chat is specifically live chat URL. It doesn't want to show signs. It only wants to show it if you actually click on the drop down icon from live chat to top chat to live chat. And it's just causing me some issues apparently. Doesn't like me today. I do love using blood for the blood god, but I also love adding stuff like rust and gunmetal damage and all that kind of stuff. I've really enjoyed that kind of a side of it at the moment. Right, Mama Nerd, I need to boost. My team is about to kick off. I'll catch you for live stream tomorrow. All best, you're the half. Eddie is looking. Mwah, chef's kiss. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your night, Arch, and I'll see you tomorrow. He's looking pretty spot on, to be honest. I'm quite happy with him. To be honest, I think it's about time for some shading. which of course, if I'm doing red, it has to be Carroburg Crimson. I'm going to quickly grab the Targor for the rest of his clothing, because I think that would look quite good for his armour. Indeed, Mini Axe Crafts, another day, another character. In fact, we'll be done with the heroes as of tomorrow, and then we start the evil campaign, so that'll be fun. But anyway, how are you, Mini Axe Crafts? How are you doing? Going in with cardboard just for a coat on the red. And then whilst this shade dries, I can go in and do this little pouch. Tired of editing, otherwise I'm doing alright. How are you? I'm tired, but that's just pregnancy tired, so other than that I am good. I am really good overall though. I have spent today sanding, editing, and now streaming. So today has been rather busy. But as of today, the sanding is now all done. So I don't have to do that again this week. Instead I just have to prime and paint walls. That's going to be fun. For the brown pouch on his back, I'm just going to go in with some, I can just find it, I just had it in my hand. Dryad bark for that one. Yeah, at the moment, because obviously I'm keeping myself safe whilst also trying to do jobs, I spent this morning waddling around with a little, well, a couple of like protective masks on my face, sanding walls, and then I spent the rest of the day editing / script writing and a bunch of other stuff really. Been rather busy. There we go. Have you got everything sorted for your Christmas now, Mini Axe Crafts? We're going into next week's. What is it? Is it a week today until Christmas? I don't know. I haven't checked. I'm losing track of my dates at this point and my days. No, week until Christmas Eve today. We'll obviously be most likely we'll be doing a stream on Christmas Eve. Obviously, Christmas Day there will be no stream because of obvious reasons. But as long as nothing goes wrong as far as, you know, giving birth to a child within the next week, the streams will be more or less continuous. The only day I won't be streaming most likely might be Sunday, but I might just, because I'm not going to be streaming next week on Thursday, I might just stream on Sunday as well. So it'll be a stream first of, how many days now? Yeah, 11 days in a row of streaming with a day off. The good old Christmas time. For the gold, I'm going to go in with, not that one, if it helps I pick the right one. I'm going to go in with some Reichland Flesh Shade over any of the gold parts. And I'm going to go in with Targul Rage Shade over anything that's silver metallic. Yeah, so some Reichland Flesh Shade for the gold elements. So I'll do those now whilst that brown is still drying, and as soon as that's dry, we'll go over the rest with the Targul Rage Shade. Oh, and I'll throw my paintbrushes on the floor as well, apparently, while I'm at it. I think that is the only negative about doing anything regarding YouTube, is the amount of time you spend obviously on a project, and then the amount of time you then have to spend editing it to put it out. It can be quite tiresome at times. This is why people hire editors and stuff like that, but obviously not everybody, one, wants someone to edit their work, and two, can afford editors. I do just love the way Reichland Flesh Shade looks on gold armour. It just looks so detailed and just brings it out so nicely. Now just go in with Targor, which is obviously a greyish purplish colour. Could have gone in with Null Oil, but I just wanted to do something a little bit different. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the colour payoff for Targor. I think that was the correct decision for this armour. This makes it look a little bit more grungy. Just using a little bit of lead belcher on this little item there, and I'm going to go back in with some of that Caribou Crimson because I realised I put it all over his cape and then put none on like his under tunic, which is not very wise of me. There we are. Is this boy fully shaded now? But since we still have some time, I think I'm going to start highlighting this one today. I'm going to start doing the gold elements, which for that I'm going to use, let's focus, Auric Armor Gold to highlight any of the gold elements on this figure. Hello, Summit, how are you? I imagine sleepy from lots and lots of Christmas work. Surprised you can still string together sentences, to be honest, mate. I think what we're going to do is we're going to actually completely finish this character aside from his base today on stream. And then tomorrow we just have to do the Jade Warrior and the Centaur, which I can't remember his name again. Yeah, 5 more shifts before Christmas. Nearly there. Nearly there, buddy. Very nearly. Not that you're counting or anything. Okay. Just making sure my brush is pointed. So what I'm doing with this is just selecting random wings and just picking out little ones to add a bit of, almost like it's highlighting but a contrasty bit as well. But he's coming together quite nicely. You can kind of just see in the lights like a tiny bit of a shift without being too much. Are you all sorted for Christmas otherwise, Summit? Obviously working a lot, but are you otherwise sorted? Just saying, anyone, I'm going to be spending Christmas alone this year because Mr. Nerd is working. But there's like a part of me that was like very tempted to stream on Christmas Day. And then I thought, maybe not. Like, I'll give myself a day off because I'm going to be streaming for 11 days in a row building up to that. I'll be streaming on Christmas Eve. I'll be streaming on Boxing Day. And then I'll be taking like potentially like a mini little bit of a hiatus slightly after Christmas. Obviously in the new year, if this little one has decided to, if he hasn't decided to arrive already by that point, he'll be coming in the new year. So I'll be taking a little hiatus when my child arrives. So I'm kind of in the mindset of do as many as I can. Before he makes his appearance. I like the fact this guy's got a mask on, so I don't have to worry about a face this time. We can just paint his face. And he is then officially quote-unquote done, which makes it a lot easier. But now I'm going to go in with some Stormhost Silver. And after that, it's just the red highlights. And then this boy is done. Quite simplistic in comparison. I think he's probably the simplest one out of all of them so far. Very cool, but simplest to paint. Okey-dokey. Again, I loved using a silver on an axe and just doing the edges of the blade. So just one, not only edge highlights, but just makes it look nice and sharp. And it just amplifies it a little bit more. Obviously, what I'll do once these guys are all painted, the good campaign, I will post them all on all the socials to kind of show that we've completed this half. And then, of course, I will then do the same when we start the evil campaign on Friday. Because by tomorrow, because I'll just kind of, I might start a tiny bit earlier tomorrow, maybe like 5:30, maybe. It depends, I've got an appointment tomorrow, so if I can start a bit earlier I will, because then we've got those two to completely finish. Ideally I want them completely done by tomorrow, so that we can just crack on Friday with the bad guys. Which will be exciting. My apologies, had to nip out. Looking forward to seeing your work on the Shaman. Thank you so much. So far we've got through quite a lot. I don't know if you've actually been able to catch many of the streams at all, Summit, but I will give you a little update on everything we've done. So obviously this is today's piece. He's nearly done, so to do his highlights on his red cape and stuff now. Because we've already done some gold and some silver highlights. We then have Miss, sure, if they want to focus on her, Miss Bryn Tylers, who I finished earlier on. Followed it up by my big guy's gone walkabouts. Let's grab him. This big fella, who I've kind of nicknamed Krampus. He was finished yesterday. He looks very cool. I'm very proud of him. Our Enchantress. He's very cool. Yeah, take a break on Xmas, watch some crappy Xmas movie and just relax. Yeah, the Knight's helmet is just majestic. Thank you. And then we have our Dwarfy boy. And this guy's technically supposed to be made of like trees and vines, but we decided to give him a little coat of fire instead. And we've, instead of naming him Whisper, his name is Cinders. Because why not? But that's what we've done so far. We just need to finish off this guy tonight. And then tomorrow we will paint the last two figures, which is the Shaman, aka Jacobus Vine. Oh, the Jacobus Vine, sorry, and then our Centaur. So we have our Jade Wizard and can't remember his name now. The Forest Prince, Kelthanor. So these are tomorrow's jobs. He's going to take me the longest, so I'll probably do Jacobus first and then finish off with him. That is even more reason to finish off our Mighty Knight tonight, so that you can focus on that tomorrow. Because it's just his red highlights to do now, and then he is finished. Which for that I'm going to use Methystone red for. Looking glorious, nice work. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So just picking up the colour and hitting the highest points. Any of the raised edges. Blot off a little bit of that because it seems to be very watery. That's a bit better. Like I said, once we are officially in the new year and our little one has arrived, to be honest, our first stream back will probably be us playing Darkwater. So you guys can watch all these characters we've built, we've obviously painted and have built over the last, well, at that point it'll be 2 or 3 weeks of work, actually coming together and being used for their intended purpose. Getting the edges. You can just see them very subtly in the high points on the cape. Then just couple on his tunic, and that is him. That guy does look epic. Thank you, Summit. And that is him all finished, actually. So I'm doing their bases off camera. I've got ideas, but haven't decided exactly how I want the bases to look yet. So that is, remember his name now, Edmarc Valoran, the Manticore Knight, all finished. So Edmarc Valoran believes himself to be the greatest mortal champion of the armies of Hammerhor Aksha. However, a past failure has left him embittered, isolated, and riddled with raw realmstone. Now, afflicted by the embarrassing lodged within his flesh, rage causes his body to erupt in flame, burning anyone near him who seek to do him harm. Have you used Agrac's Earthshade over gold? I have. In this case, I use Reichland, but I do most of the time use Agrac's Earthshade just because it has quite a nice payoff. I might do a little bit on his ribbons, actually, though, saying that. Put my foot down and knocked my camera. Very sorry for that, guys. We're using a little bit of that over his shield as well. That'll be him. It just makes everything look a little bit more imperfect, which is nice. Yeah, it was the shield that was calling me wanting the Agrac's Earthshade. I'm guilty at overusing it. It's my Green Goblin mask. I tend to switch between Agrac's and Reichland. It just depends on what type of shade, what type of gold I'm going for, and obviously the colour payoff that I'm after. But we will call him there, I think. So that is our mighty knight, and he has been shaded, he's been highlighted, he's had everything done for him today. Reichland is much more civilized. It works both ways. I think it just depends on what kind of character you're doing. But that is where we'll leave this for tonight, guys. Looking majestic. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody who's tuned in. It's been greatly appreciated. Like I said, tomorrow we'll be finishing off the Heroes campaign, and then Friday we'll officially be starting our bad guys. So I'll be building those on Friday daytime. I'll be building just a few, and then from there we can go ahead and start painting the evil campaign. So again, it's greatly appreciated, everybody who has joined us. So thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.